When I say this is the most mind-blowing development in Zenless's story to date, I am not exaggerating. Granted, perhaps there isn't a ton of competition, Chapter 5 comes to mind, but my statement stands. The grand finale of Zenless Zone Zero Season 1 left me speechless with my mouth agape. You may find that silly. I certainly won't deny it. But I would like to share why that is. Why I'm so utterly stunned and excited for the future of Phaethon and New Eridu. In this video, we're going to recap what went down in the closing half of the Season 1 epilogue, Bury Your Tears with the Past, B. After Hugo's death at the Ballet Twins, Vivian was left in our care. The story of what went down on the rooftop made its way to the public, painted in favor of Mockingbird. This was thanks to New Eridu's Mayor Mayflower. He offers to form a proper partnership to allow us to locate and eliminate all remaining dormant sacrifices outlined in Bringer's notebook. We find out that these sacrifices were created by a man named Landon, research head of a small group of Exaltists. He had managed to develop a serum that could turn living people into sacrifices. Understanding how critical it is that we eliminate what is remaining, we agree to the partnership and head to the Ballet Twins Hollow. Except, what we are greeted with are not sacrifices. Somebody else had already come through the area and destroyed them all. That someone turns out to be an Exaltist and an old acquaintance of Vivian's, Camille. She escapes before we're able to get anything out of her. Thus, we are now back to square one. Our only lead now is suspicious activity surrounding the Ravenlock family. It's clear Hartman is attempting to do something surrounding the sacrifices and the core that he managed to escape with. We follow a trail until we get a first-hand account from a victim that was trying to be hushed. Evidently, he was taken into a hollow with several other innocents before being given pills that blacked them out. Only he awoke, doing so to the sight of his co-workers dead by his hand. The Ravenlock staff's reaction to this? They called it a good experiment. They planned on injecting him with a serum after, but he was miraculously freed by a strange man. More on that later. Taking a quick breather from the otherwise tense events, we go on a walk with Vivian. She shares with us some of her past. That she was in a place so dark that she wanted to let the lights take her away. She had made her decision. Until a notification came from Internaut. From us. We don't remember what we had said to her, but it was enough to show her that there is more to live for. That there is a Vivian in the future that she would be proud to walk in the shoes of. And that Vivian stands before us now. Sometimes, all it takes is one nice comment. Using the Ravenlock victim's account, we are able to learn about a deal between Hartman and the Exaltists. A deal involving Hartman's sacrifice core. Eager to not miss this opportunity, we re-enter the Ballet Twins Hollow to intercept. Camille tries to work out the deal with Hartman on her own before she is joined by her superior, Dina. Dina is the daughter of the Exaltist researcher Landon and another old acquaintance of Vivian's. She took charge of his sect after his death. As it turns out, she had stolen the sacrifice core from Hartman just prior to the meeting. Except it wasn't a sacrifice core. It was a fake, stemming all the way back to Hugo. With everyone confused and lost, Hartman and the Exaltists make their escape and leave us to die with the Ethereals. We likely would have perished if not for the help of a friend of the mayor's, the 13th generation master of Yun Kuei Summit, Yixuan. We'll be seeing a lot more of her very soon. After leaving the Hollow, Vivian recounts the past. She helped Landon select test subjects for his research unknowingly, his end goal being to create sacrifices from living humans. Dina blames Vivian for her father's death, despite it being by his own hands more than anyone else's. Camille had accidentally caused Landon to shoot himself, and out of remorse and guilt has stayed by Dina's side ever since. After some investigation, we find an old trail left by Hugo at the auction from the previous story chapter, where we see Camille's true goals more directly. She only wants to help Dina as a person. She wants to put an end to what Dina has picked up from where Landon left off. The facts are clear. Dina has a concoction that can control the minds of humans, but has no way to create sacrifices of her own without dormant sacrifices or Landon's serum. This is why we encountered Camille destroying them. We destroy the rest of the serum left behind, and we put an end to any doomsday plans that Dina has. Before we can take any action, we get a call from Lycon. We are granted an opportunity to access Hartman's study through a Ravenlock banquet held to attract business partners. We attend undercover as
+1! Lord Phaethon, please go with me!
As Vivian's +1, where she is to impersonate a young tycoon. Don't forget, she is still a phantom thief. We do manage to make it into Hartman's office, though too easily. He knew. Cornered and with no options, the situation seems dire. Hartman stands steps away with a loaded revolver trained on us. Though perhaps it is not as loaded as he thought it was.
The bullet? How?
Dear uncle, why must we be so distant with one another?
I mean, who's really surprised? Hugo is not a man who dies so easily. Everything that happened on the Ballet Twins rooftop that day was a ploy, a performance, one that Lycon took part in after hearing Hugo give a code. They met up after to discuss what would come next. When Hugo made his deal with Hartman, he let him drug his drinks. Sure enough, this drug was provided by Dina's Exaltists. Hugo had been resisting the effects of the mind control fervently, but just like a pot left to simmer too long, eventually it boils over. He had Lycon lock him in an empty room at Port Elpis, unsure of the mental and physical turmoil he would endure. In Hugo's own words, he underwent a self-psychological therapy session. He confronted shadows from his past, including his mother, his sister, and, perhaps most harshly, himself. Hugo had been internalizing his mountain of emotions for years, and in that moment, he finally accepted them. He successfully fought the effects of the drug he ingested and came out the other end, understanding who he was. Punctual as ever, Hugo didn't let any moment waste, no matter his condition. To continue with his plan, he needed to acquire concrete evidence of Hartman's experiments. With Lycon tagging along, the two interrupted a Ravenlock test group, freeing the innocent subjects. Remember him? Hugo recorded video coverage of the happenings and made them public to the people and to Tops. After their successful operation, Lycon and Hugo shared a word by the water. You may remember that the two took an oath as children to never take the life of another person, and that Hugo broke that oath when he killed his father. Hugo confesses to Lycon in this moment that he never did. He thought he had, but he found out later that his father survived. Hugo had never broken their oath. To this day, he has upheld the doctrine that Mockingbird was founded upon. By the waves, the two former partners reconciled and realized the rift between them need not exist any longer. And so, there was but one more thing left for Hugo to do.
to witness the end of Ravenlock.
We return to the present, where Hartman gets the news broken to him by the news. Tops is to sever all ties with the Ravenlock family at large. This completely eliminates Hartman and the Ravenlocks from the equation. Now, all that's left is to destroy the remaining batch of Landon's serum before Dina can use it to create a controllable sacrifice. For the first time in a long time, we all enter the Hollow together. Phaethon, Vivian, Lycon, and Hugo. We make short work of some Exaltist operatives, destroying batches of the serum in the process. The fate that Vivian saw for Phaethon at the end of the last chapter resurfaces, causing her to shed tears. This is one calamity she will not allow to happen. She pockets one of Landon's serums and presses onward. The group splits into 2 teams to search for the test subject survivors, leaving just us with Vivian. Dina shows her face once again. Being close to her, Vivian and Camille both want to help her find a new path. Camille unveils her true wishes to Dina and sacrifices her life to let her start over. However, Dina does not take it that way. All she sees is the people she cares about get lost time and again. Where Hugo found solace by searching his emotions, Dina found only more and more hatred. This would be her last stand. Vivian does everything she can to protect us from the now corrupted Ethereal, and just when it seems like the battle is won, she is cornered. She will not allow the fate she foresaw come to pass. By any means, protect the proxy. And so, Vivian injects herself with Landon's sacrifice serum. With the burst of etheric energy, she impales the Tepes on an ether crystal and carries our unconscious self to safety. When we wake up, we try to find Vivian. Not once in the history of Eridu has anybody successfully reversed the effects of ether corruption. By injecting herself, Vivian had sealed her fate. And she knew it. Even if she was taken out of the Hollow, there would be nothing that could be done to save her. Which is why it came as a world-defining shock when this happened.
No, please, no. It's so warm, and the night is beautiful. Vivian? No. It can't end like this.
Belle, you're scaring me. Belle, I'm so glad you're awake.
What happened? I remember Vivian and I... Wait, where's Vivian? She injected herself with Landon's serum.
Hugo and Lycon brought you out of the Hollow. You were in a coma and... I'm so glad you're safe.
We reversed the corruption process. To reiterate, there is no currently known way for humanity to do this. Our old teacher at Helios Academy gave us a gift far more powerful than we previously thought. Lycon's explanation makes things more clear.
So, the mayor theorizes that it was the etheric energy within Master Proxy's body that affected Vivian's condition and the surrounding etheric particles, causing Vivian's corruption to recede. Essentially, corruption is a reaction between the etheric particles inside the body and in the surrounding environment. Therefore, it's not necessarily irreversible, just that currently our mainstream method of defense is prevention.
In the last chapter, one of my lingering questions was, what other powers do our ocular implants grant us that the mayor spoke of? This is one of them. And just like the mayor said, it has the power to change all of New Eridu. Lycon mentions that Yixuan will have more answers for us, and will allow us to tap into our full potentials. In the next season of Zenless Zone Zero's story, we will begin walking a path that'll change everything. Next stop, Wi-Fi Peninsula. That wraps up Season 1. To be honest, I've really enjoyed all the ups and downs this journey has taken us on. The game has come so far, both in a story sense and a gameplay sense, and yet we have only just begun. Stick around if you're interested in hearing more about this game's story and world. Share the video with others if you feel they'd enjoy as well. There's so much more on the way. My name has been Glastic. Thank you for watching. Heed the Hollow's call.